I'm Jeff.
And I'm Sara.
And this is a video recap for our first class for Penguin Swing in 2013. We taught Begintermediate Lindy Hop. In our first class, we talked about fundamentals of Lindy Hop connection and swing out connection.
So we started by teaching you the pass by to work on these connections, and it'll look like this. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Stretch.
1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8.
That was the first version. Stretch away. We call this coming on 2. Second version.
5, 6, 7, 8.
1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. This version, we brought the follow with us on 1. So we say we bring the follow in on 1. The big distinction between these two versions is what's going on with this connection right here. In the first version, on bring in on 2, we have a stretch away. We're both stretching away from the central point. In the second version, on the bring in on 1, we move ourselves back and we don't allow for that stretch. So this is an important thing for leads to understand, how to lead the difference, right? The difference between stretching away versus bringing our arms with us. And
for follows to be able to feel the difference between the two.
And follows in general shouldn't assume that they're doing one or the other. It just depends on the lead.
We also talked about the just chilling out on 1, 5, 6, 7, 8.
1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Right? And really there's a whole spectrum of the amount to which the follow should go back, to stay in place, to come forward, and it depends on that initial lead on count 1. So then, talking about that connection on count 1, we then transitioned into discussing the 7 and 8, because that's where we established the connection on 1, right? That's sort of the prep. So everything is prep. So we talked a little bit about 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, triple step. On that 7 and 8, we established that connection, either to bring in or to stretch away. Okay?
And by reaching the end of our connection, having a connection here.
Right, we talked about having good posture. So maybe this is a good time to remind you that we want our shoulders rolled back and down. That's really a key aspect of our posture.
And we engage the muscles in our back to maintain this connection, and
but
not so much
the bicep. Okay? So think about that when we're establishing the connection on 7 and 8. And to both give you a socially leadable move, as well as give you a way to play around with the amount of stretch that you can create on that 7 and 8, we gave you the following thing.
5, 6, 7, 8.
1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we create a lot of stretch by moving ourselves leads back on 7. Right? So this establishes this tension in our connection earlier than it would otherwise, leading into that stomp off and 8. We then moved on to bringing all of these movements into a swing out. So right now this was just done in the 8 count pass by, and all of them can be done in the swing out. We then talked about the connection in the swing out itself. So first of all, we established this connection on 4. So we want to have a sort of a linear connection. So a linear tension. I'm moving back this way.
And I'm bringing my hips back this way.
And it's with the hips, not with the shoulders. Okay. It's with the hips. Okay.
It's not down and back. It's just back with the hips.
Exactly. So this is a good time to remind you that with the pass by, we really focused on creating very linear pass bys. Right? Sara goes
1, 2. I go in a straight line.
Right down that line. I get out of the way and back in the way. Right? And so we use that linear direction in the swing out to establish
1, 2, 3,
and 4, that linear stretch on the swing out. Oftentimes, if there's a lot of rotation, we have connection, some tension instead of going in an angle in some which way. We want to try to avoid that.
We want it straight back.
So now that we're here, leads, we're then going to bring the follow with us on that count 5.
5, 6, 7, and 8. And follow as I step behind myself on 6.
Exactly. So really make sure and key into those 2 connection points. So just to remind you, we're going to do a swing out where we are not focused, we're just going to focus on those 2 connection points. So it's stretch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, great. All right, so that was it for Class 1 in Penguin Swing 2013, our Begintermediate Lindy Hop class. Again, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Sara.